What is up, everybody? I just want to keep this nice, sweet, and short because it is freaking 2:30 a.m. But today's video is going to be about why you shouldn't take people at face value, why you shouldn't give people the benefit of the doubt, right? A lot of people be out here giving everyone the benefit of the doubt. Sorry, I'm just looking at my skin. My skin looks freaking golden right now. Damn. Anyways, what's it called? When you take people at face value, they can give you anything they want in terms of the face value that they give you, but that leads to you negating what you're sensing behind the scenes, right? Which could be something you may sense that they have ulterior motives. You may sense this person isn't genuine or something like that. And so you choose to bypass these things because you would rather take someone at face value. And this is where a lot of people will go wrong, because you guys just might go through many experiences of people showing you who they really are, and then you having to turn around and say, oh my gosh, I didn't even know, like I couldn't believe that I was with someone like that. I couldn't believe that I surrounded myself with that. You know what I mean? But if you had paid attention to the senses that you were picking up along the way, because we all get senses, all of our spidey senses are always tingling. So you always pick up on a certain vibe. You always pick up on a certain aura or energy that someone may be portraying, but you may not always be able to interpret or figure out what that energy is or why you're experiencing it. And so this is why it's important to not take people at face value. Do not give people the benefit of the doubt, right? If you have to constantly question someone and second guess people in your life, then that should be your first cue of why you shouldn't give them the benefit of the doubt, and you should leave them where you found them, because at the end of the day, if they were really meant for you, they will come around and they will eventually try and find a way for them to be in your life. But if they don't, then that's just furthermore proof of the fact that you had the inkling for a reason. You had that certain feeling or emotion or thought for a reason, and it wasn't because you were triggered or because you were overthinking. And don't get me wrong, there's certain situations when people are self-reflecting, right? There's certain situations where people are self-reflecting in life, but when it comes to you being able to pick up on certain social cues, a lot of the time these may have some merit to them. Even if you are self-reflecting, there may be some kind of truth, especially if it's a recurring thing. Let's say you're really working on yourself internally, you're really letting go of shit, and then all of a sudden you constantly start getting thoughts about second guessing someone's motives that you're surrounding yourself with. You should very much take heed to that, because later down the line, life is going to show you why you should have taken heed to that. And I'm here to tell you right now, as someone who's been through that experience so many times, like, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. Just go with your gut. Trust yourself at the end of the day, because you know what is true. And if you have to sit there and second guess and question whether someone's really there for you, 9 times out of 10, they're not there for you. And they were never there for you, and they don't intend to be there for you. They're probably just looking out for themselves at the end of the day. Or maybe they're not looking out for themselves, but they just aren't necessarily for you in general. So you need to be aware of these little senses that you pick up on. These are like your spiritual senses. And the more you start to be aware of this, the more you start to be able to practice and hone and build that muscle. Look at everything as like a form of a muscle, right? When it comes to your abilities and your skills. The more you train that, the more you'll be able to get better at it. So if you're sitting around blinding yourself, what are you training, bitch? You're training the blind muscle. You're not training the freaking clarity muscle, the clairvoyance muscle, which is why I'm such an advocate for meditation. And I wouldn't even say advocate. This is why I love to meditate. Because at the end of the day, meditation helps you to be able to gain clairvoyance and clarity so that you can actually see things for what they are and see it from an expanded or a greater awareness rather than seeing it from a limited perspective, which a lot of people in this world are stuck in limited perspectives because people don't even meditate, not even in the natural way. A lot of people just think 24/7. They just feel 24/7. You need to learn how to control these things. You need to control your thoughts, control your feelings. And anyways, back to the topic. When it comes to taking people at face value, it's going to do you more harm than good at the end of the day. You should blend both sides of yourself and don't ever get lost into a bias, like I always say. Because when you get lost into a bias, then you kind of fail to blend the left and right brain, or the unseen and the seen aspects of your life. And instead, you're just left being like, oh, why is this happening to me? Or why is my life the way it is? Confused and lost. And it came from the starting point of you and your mentality. And especially when it comes to your relationships, not being able to handle these things, not being able to pick up on certain cues that show you who someone is and what their character is like. These are all signs that you're confused and lost in this area, alright? So, and it's not to be ashamed of that. It's talking about knowing where you're at and how you can improve and grow from the place you're already at. Because if you don't know where you're at, how are you going to be able to take yourself to the next level? It's very, very important for you to be able to see these kind of things. Sorry guys, I just so got sidetracked. But yeah, when you know that, I just lost my train of thought. What was I even talking about? But yeah, basically, don't take people at face value, babes. Take heed to the little signals, the little inklings that you get from things, especially if it's reoccurring and you know that you're in a space where you're clear, you're not like muddying your mental waters, you're not overthinking. Like, let's say it's a situation where you're completely overthinking everything, and what's it called? You've been overthinking this certain concept for a while, then maybe important to take heed of that in terms of you maybe self-projecting or self-reflecting that emotion because you're so worked up on that emotion and that thought form. But if that is not the case, or if you have been going through it for a while, but you also know that you're in an equilibrium state, so you don't necessarily allow yourself to fall down those patterns, then this is your sign that you are most likely 9 times out of 10 correct about whatever you're thinking about, because you've already been doing the work, you've already been clearing your mind state, you've already been being lighter and letting go of expectations and letting go of thoughts and feelings, because you know that these manifest. So when time does come for you to experience these thoughts and feelings that you don't want to experience, and maybe you're just sitting there thinking, oh, I just need to work through this because I just need to heal. No, you should take heed to that because you've been doing the healing, you've been doing the work. So you need to actually pay attention to the reason to why you're even going through that. This is where it can get confusing, because sometimes you may think, oh, I haven't done enough work, or blah, blah, blah. But you need to be aware of every instance of your life as well, and pay attention to how long, how many times a day, how much energy you actually put into clearing your mind, becoming a lighter state of being and all that good shit. Then you'll be able to see, oh yeah, actually I was always correct about these things, but because I was so worked up and in denial, and especially because everybody in this world be self-projecting already, so it's not like they're good examples of how to not self-project type of shit. So when you know that, you'll be like, oh, okay. And this leads to my other point of making this video as well. It's like, you shouldn't really take people's advice, especially like if you're genuinely on a spiritual path, especially if you're a fixed sign, double especially. But if you're genuinely on a spiritual path and you are deep in the shit, like you do this shit, like you live and breathe spirituality, not just like one of those hobby type things. And some people even think that they live and breathe it when they are in that hobby type thing. But when you actually live and breathe spirituality, aka individuality, aka being you, you know, it's important because when you listen to others, especially others who don't walk the same path you do, they don't think the same way as you, they don't live and breathe the same energy as you. You know, fair enough if they do all of those things, but if they don't, and you don't have any business trying to listen to them on any advice they can get, especially if they ain't got no stable life or stable shit going on in their life. You know, fair enough if they're not spiritual, but they're more stable, which arguably they are more spiritual because they're more stable. Because in some way, shape, or form, they must be playing out their own energy in a more harmonious way. But if they're not, you know, you shouldn't be taking people's advice just willy-nilly. Because at the end of the day, that shit's gonna fuck you up in the long run. And if you've got a good thing going, why the fuck would you stop? So yeah, I'm just gonna end the video like this. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry I haven't been on in a couple days. I've been flonked the fuck out. But I'll get straight back on the regular uploads. And if I don't, I'm gonna pull myself up and whoop my ass. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy your night, time, day, wherever you are, and peace.